Today we're just continuing recognizing side links and angles. And yesterday's big idea was what? Do you remember? What did we say? What about the angles? They are what? Congruent. The angles of a similar figures are congruent, and the side links are starts with a P. Huh? Well, they are, but it starts with a P.
Parallelogram. Oh, sorry. Proportional.
Proportional. Okay. So the side links are proportional and the angles are congruent or equal. All righty. So we're going to continue with here's our class kick assignment today, and let's do some of this together, and then you guys will be free to go get some of your work done. List the pairs of congruent angles and the extended proportion that relates the corresponding sides for the similar polygons. That's a lot, but all this means is if you look at, here's a similarity statement. If you didn't even have these shapes here at all, you could answer all of these questions, okay? I could prove it to you, and we're going to do that tomorrow. Without these shapes, you can still, because A is the first letter, and A corresponds with W. B corresponds with X, C corresponds with Y, and D corresponds with Z. Now, why is that important? Well, I don't know if you remember, but yesterday we had one similar to number 2 here where it was flipped. I thought it was flipped. Miss Hodge said, no, it's turned twice. Why does that matter? Well, when it was turned twice and you turn it back, then it corresponds to a different side. But the side links were so close together, you really couldn't tell. So I thought maybe it had been flipped, and so it corresponded to a different side. So when something like that happens, it's very nice to have a similarity statement because there's no question what side corresponds to what. So, for example, if this were my similarity statement, I know that GH is a side, GH. And I know, so let me mark it, GH. And I know that it corresponds to KJ, KJ. Do you see how, even though it's flipped, these two correspond? I can tell just by the similarity statement. So a similarity statement, it really is very, very helpful in making sure you get the correct side links that are correspond to each other. So I can look at this and say LK and IH correspond, but if I wanted to look up here, I could go, okay, LK and IG. Is that right? Oh, LK, duh. Okay, did I say, oh, IH. Let me go back. Sorry, y'all. IH. So I said IH, and then IH, and then it should be LJ. LJ. So it has to be in the same order. IH. Do you see how the I is the opposite of the little square corner? So I need L first, and it is LJ when the way I said it. So if I say HI, it should be JL, JL. So do you see how I got confused there looking at the shape? That's what I'm saying. There is no confusion when you have a similarity statement. It's HI matches with JL. Okay, now one other thing real quick. Let me do, okay, GH and KJ, if I could talk right. Okay, they match up. They are the same sides. And GH and KJ. All right, does that make sense? I hope I'm not confusing you. Now let's do HI and JL. So it'd be HI and JL. And then I'm going to do, I like pink, so I'm going to do GI and KJ. So GI and K, not JL. So do you see how I have the three sides that match up? You have the first two, the second two, and then the first and the last. when you have a triangle and a similarity statement. So it's real easy to see what corresponds to what in a similarity statement. We're going to really work with those tomorrow. So you can use the shape or you can use the similarity statement to do your work. So let's start over here. This is a quadrilateral ABCD is similar to quadrilateral WXYZ. So angle A corresponds to angle W, and why is there an equal sign under there, do you think? Everybody's muted.
They are equal.
Yeah, because the angles are equal. They correspond to each other and they're also equal. So you have the corresponding symbol and the equal sign because they are equal. Okay, very good, Braden. Thank you. Angle B corresponds to what over here?
X.
X, very good. And you can put your angle sign or you can just put X. Angle C corresponds to angle what?
Y.
Y, very good. And angle D corresponds to
Z.
Z. Lovely. Okay, now if you want to look up here, you can see C is the third one, and so is Y. You can see D is the fourth one, and so is Z. So you could use your similarity statement if you choose to. Now down here, I don't want you to get confused because I got confused at one time. I thought, well, AB, here's looking at AB, I'm going, okay, according to this, AB equals BC. And you can clearly see they do not equal. But that's not what this is saying. You have to look at this, just like a fraction, and it's a whole number. Not a whole number, excuse me. It's a fraction, but it is a number altogether. So you can't separate the top and the bottom. It's AB and WX. So they have a relationship. They correspond, right? And then so does BC corresponds to XY. So you can say they're going to be proportional. Well, if they're proportional, what do we know about that? They're equivalent what? Fractions. So proportionality means equivalent fractions. They're different forms of the same place on the number line. For example, 1/2 and 3/6, they're in the exact same place on that number line. So they are equal. They are equal when you write them out. If you put numeric values in there, they would be equal. So I got a little confused on that at first. I don't want you to be confused. So YZ and CD. And the first shape is on top. So CD and YZ. You could also, and I'm just going around, so I put C first. I mean, if you put DC, you would need to put ZY. So it's the same order. And then DA is on top, so what goes on bottom?
ZY.
Not ZY. What's that up there? Can you see it? It's a W. ZW. Yes. Okie dokie. So I'm going to leave this one, number 2, for you to do because I know you guys can do that fairly easily. All right. So here, all you're doing is drawing a line from each angle in column A to a corresponding angle in column B. So A corresponds to which column over here? Looking at, I mean, it's real easy to see that they're color coded for you. So A matches with G, so you would just draw a line. Okay, and you do that for all of them. Complete the extended proportions to show that corresponding sides. Here is your similarity statement, and it's up here also. So AB and GH, AB and GH match. Again, you can use colors in Classkick. BC corresponds to HI. So you put your corresponding one at the bottom. Does everybody see how to do that?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go to the bottom. 2 polygons are similar if and only if corresponding angles are what? If corresponding angles are what? Two polygons are similar if their corresponding angles are
Equal.
equal. Who said that?
Donnie Mark.
Who?
Donnie Martin.
Thank you, Donnie Martin. Okay. That's a Q, not a G. I don't know why I put a G. Equal. Equal, yes. Okay, what's another word for equal?
Congruent.
Congruent, yes. Okay. Remember, let's go back real quick. I want you to look right here. What did we say is the main idea for this whole unit? Corresponding angles and similar figures are congruent or equal. Now, while corresponding sides are in proportion, so we need that also, because the next question says, and their corresponding sides are what?
Proportional.
Proportional. Very good. Who was that?
Braden Hunt.
Wonderful. Proportional. Their corresponding sides are proportional. Okay, figures that are similar have the same shape, but not necessarily the same what?
Size.
Size. Very good. Okay, so there's your main ideas for the whole unit right there. You keep that in mind, and you can figure out missing side lengths, which we're going to start doing using proportions after today. So anyone that has any questions for me can stay on. Let me go ahead and stop this video, and then I'm going to make sure I take roll.